I am from the Springfield, Missouri area, but I was actually born in Houston, Texas. Moved to the St. Louis area when I think I was still a baby, and then kind of grew up as a kid around the central Missouri near a town called Sedalia. So it kind of depends on how far back you want to go.
Gotcha. And so tell me a little bit about Legos.
About Lego. Well, in a general sense, Lego is a plastic brick building system that was originally designed back in somewhere in the early 1900s. It's hard to tell exactly where it started. I think the first Lego brick, as we know it today, was patented in like 1950 something. So it's been around for a long time. I really like Lego because it's a broad system. It's very flexible in one way. You can really build kind of anything you want, but at the same time, it has limits. It's very precise, and so to me, it's satisfying to get a result. You know, if you want, it can be very square, very straight, an exact color. Unlike something like paint, right, where it's kind of random, kind of messy, and so I find it to be a nice middle ground.
When did you first start playing with Lego?
Well, I feel like probably like most people, I played with Lego as a kid. Had kind of family collection. My big brother had some Lego that he let us use, and so most of my life, I guess.
And so this joy that you've had since your childhood, you've kind of branched out and kind of made it I don't know if it's a job or a hobby to you. Like, well, what do you consider it, or just art?
Yeah, I would call it a hobby, somewhat of an art. I like producing models of existing things, kind of like how one might produce a die-cast model or even like a wooden model, but you can make a model out of Lego. You can really build just about anything with it. So it is a hobby that I enjoy in my spare time.
Gotcha. At what point did you feel like I'm pretty good at this?
It's hard to say exactly. In one sense, I feel like I've kind of always been able to make really whatever I put my mind to, given the right parts. So even though I don't have a large Lego collection of my own, I've actually gotten into digital Lego design, where essentially you have unlimited parts available, and that allows you to really kind of throw off some of those limitations and I feel like in a way be more artistic with it. And I've always kind of been familiar with the Lego system, the details of some of the different parts and how they go together. And so it's fun to flex that knowledge and just figure out how to really reproduce any shape that you want.
Gotcha. And so now you are on the current season of Lego Masters.
Mm-hmm.
How did that whole process come about?
Yeah, good question. I first heard about Lego Masters probably from my brother Greg, who's also a big Lego fan, and I think we were kind of at a family occasion, and we were watching the Super Bowl actually, and there was a commercial for season 1. I think we were messing around with some Lego bricks at the time, and some of our family members were like, "Oh, you guys should get on that show. You guys are both really good at this." And so we were kind of thinking, hey, maybe they were just kidding, but maybe we should take it seriously. And that's really where the idea started.
And so what did you guys have to like audition? What was sort of the process of getting on the show?
Yeah, so I think we just looked up online and found an application, had to fill that out, had to send, a bunch of information about yourself and your history with Lego and different things that you've built out of Lego, etc. And then eventually we got a call back, and there were different interviews. There was a whole process, paperwork that had to be signed, background checks, etc., etc.
And so what was your reaction when they were like, okay, we want you on season 3?
Well, honestly, we had actually applied for season 2 and had made it through the process. And then I tested positive for COVID at the most inopportune time, and so was ineligible to fly to the studio at the last minute. So that was pretty tough. We kind of had to repeat the process a little bit for season 3 just for formality. So admittedly, when they told us we were on the show for season 3, we actually weren't super surprised, because we already knew we had pretty good chances from applying for season 2.
So just to kind of backtrack just slightly, can you explain what Lego Masters is and what it's all about?
Yeah, so Lego Masters is a building competition show using Lego bricks where teams of 2 compete for $100,000 and the grand title of Lego Masters, as well as like a custom built Lego trophy.
Gotcha. And so now you're on season 3. What's been your experience so far?
Well, are we talking kind of behind the scenes experience, or are we talking with what's been released so far?
Probably with, I mean, a little bit of both. Like, I guess I'd like to know, like, what was it like meeting like Will Arnett to, the experience? Because it's you and your brother, right? That's
Right.
out there, and then just sort of like what it's like to be on national television and the set and kind of things like that.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely, it was a one of a kind experience. Flying out to the studio and getting to meet these other Lego builders, getting to spend a lot of time with my brother, seeing behind the scenes, kind of how the sausage is made, if you will, was pretty cool. It was long hours. It was a lot of work filming because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see. But it was fun to really get to dive into 5 million Lego bricks and get to meet Will Arnett in person, who I've not only seen host the first 2 seasons of the show, but I enjoy his voice as the Lego Batman. I've seen him in a couple other shows as well. So it was definitely a little bit surreal, and it was a cool, one of a kind experience.
Gotcha. And with your brother, like, is this something that I know you mentioned you guys started trying to apply for and everything? Is this something that you and your brother have always kind of done together, or has the plan always been to kind of be like brothers going into this?
Yeah, so my brother and I, we go back a long ways. I mean, of course, we've always known each other, but even as kids, we were kind of buddies, and we would run around the woods and build fortresses together and do that kind of thing. So we've always had a way of kind of being a team. And he's more the leader type, and that was kind of his sidekick. And so that dynamic we already have. We have that history. But we've always, I think, been fans of Lego, probably more than your average person. And so we knew that was something that we had in common. And so I think both of us were just kind of like, well, yeah, it makes sense for us to do this together.
Gotcha. So with the episodes that are out still pretty early on, is there anything that you can tell us in terms of like really, really challenging builds that you had to do or anything like that during that time?
Yeah, let me think about that for half a second. So episode 1, where we built the spaceships, that one actually, I think we ended up coming in under time. They didn't really give us much screen time, but we just kind of did our thing. It came out well. It was real structurally sound. So I think the challenge there was actually kind of reading into what it was the Brickmasters actually wanted, because the challenge was presented as, hey, we want a spaceship. We want it to reflect your personality. And I think what they were looking for, so we kind of went spaceship first. I think what they were really going for was personality first. So the challenge there, I think, was actually an issue of interpretation. In terms of episode 2 with the dinosaurs, we built that really big Brontosaurus. Once again, it didn't get much screen time, but you see it in a couple shots. And the challenge there was just the quantity of what we had to build. And so we were literally just building fast the whole time and trying to get that structure done, because it was just a lot to do. But then the real challenge came with episode 3 and the bull rider that we had to build. And I have a pretty good head for engineering and structural integrity, and so I wasn't too concerned about building a character that was strong. We wanted to take it to the next level and incorporate movement and flexibility into our character. So to have a character that's both strong and flexible was really a next level challenge, and there were some limitations to what parts were available to make that work. So I did the best I could. And for anyone who hasn't seen episode 3 yet, I don't want to spoil the results, but that was definitely an engineering challenge.
Gotcha. My last question for you, what's been the reaction been like back in Springfield, with your family, friends, and just the general community?
Yeah, good question. So my family has been excited for us. I think pretty much all along. They're all tuning in and watching the show, and once things finally get released, they're like, "Oh yeah, it was so cool what you guys built," or they're of course giving their opinions on how things went. And then I think it's been kind of a novelty to most of my friends and coworkers, where I'll show up at the gym and everyone's like, "Oh hey, it's the Lego guy," or they're like, "Oh, you're a celebrity now," and I'm like, well, "I don't know about that," but they're kind of teasing me about it and that kind of thing. So it's been fun. I actually started a new job not too long ago, and my new coworkers didn't know that I was on the show, and so my new boss, he just happened to be watching it and he recognized me and he was like, "Whoa, no way!" And so now they're all kind of into it, and they're like, "Make sure you tune in to Lego Masters, Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and you can watch Brendan build with his brother."
That's great. Yeah. I think that's all I've got. Is there anything else I might have missed? Anything else you want to say or talk about?
Um, I think you pretty much covered the basics. It gave me a bunch of stats and stuff. You want some stats?
Sure, I'll take stats.
Yeah. So this is something. So we knew there were 5 million parts available in what they call the brick pit. Apparently 3,300 different type of elements. But I learned recently, apparently the total weight of all the Lego bricks was approximately 11 tons. So that kind of puts it in perspective a different way. We were working with up to 11 tons of available Lego parts. So that's kind of a fun stat. I like numbers.
Yeah.
And then apparently, once we had built all of the models, the team had to, for the next episode, they wanted to disassemble those and kind of recycle the parts, and to break them down, to sort out the parts, to sterilize the parts, for health, and then sort everything back out. Apparently, it said it took one build would take about 24 hours for the team of 4 people, to get it completely sorted out. So when you've got up to 12 builds per episode, they're doing a lot of work behind the scenes just to keep those Lego parts in circulation.
Gotcha. Well, how do you feel about like just the general I guess evolution of like Legos? It's still like the simple bricks, but then just as the years go by, they kind of integrate things like joints and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so Lego has evolved a lot coming from the days of just the simple bricks. It's really allowed you to do more. There's now more technical parts, moving parts, motorization. Of course, you have joints and things like that, so you can build much more complex and organic shaped structures, and they're not just all bricky and pixelated looking necessarily. So I'm actually not a big fan of like really highly customized parts that have a very specific shape that are kind of really only have one use case. But I like when they provide those real small, simple parts that have just the right curve or just the right angle that kind of expand the system, that allow you to give more polish to your builds, because those are the things that you can really use to create just about anything. So in recent years, I've really actually appreciated some of the additional technical parts that they've produced, and some of the little curves and angles that allow you to flesh out that brick system and really take builds to the next level.
Gotcha. My very last thing, just how can other people see like what you guys have created outside of just watching the show?
Good question. So Lego Masters does post on several different social media channels. They're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They might be on YouTube. I'm not sure. So you can definitely subscribe to Lego Masters Fox and get some little occasional behind the scenes promos, introductions to teams. Sometimes we'll post pictures and things like that. And then if you miss the live airing of Lego Masters on Fox Now, you can watch it on Hulu next day. So if you have access to Hulu, that's a way you can catch up on the show.
All right, Brendan, thank you so much, and
Yeah,
congratulations getting on the show, and good luck.
thank you.
Cool.